Billions in automatic spending cuts are set to kick in about 5 hours. Lawmakers have all but given up on a compromise and are preparing for the fallout of sequestration. News 19's Clark Foraker is live inside our nation's capital tonight at the Capitol building. He's been working all day to see what lawmakers from our state are doing to keep all of this from happening. Clark?
Well, JR, they say they've been working, and still tonight, no deal will be reached on this sequestration budget issue. $85 billion in triggered across-the-board cuts will go into effect sometime tomorrow. And that means back in the Midlands, we will, because we're a military town, most likely feel the effects of these cuts sooner than most.
The deal was $1 increase in debt ceiling equals $1 reduction in spending. So that sort of sets the framework, and we're all open to discussions about how to change that dollar worth of spending. But the president wants to change the deal, to go back on his word from August 2011 and say, well, I know I said back then I wanted spending reductions, but now I want either a half or 2/3 or all tax increases. And that's why you've got that impasse.
Do you expect we'll feel it at
I think by mid-April you'll feel it very much as on defense contractors. You exempt personnel, so all the cuts fall on modernization and readiness. So the defense industries are going to feel it hard. There are going to be layoffs on the civilian side at the bases, and eventually it's going to affect training, flying time, deployment schedules, the ability to replace people in Afghanistan. This is an incredibly dumb idea. The men and women in the military deserve better, and I'm going to keep working to find a solution.
So now that we know a deal won't be reached, it's become sort of a political blame game here in Washington. Senators and members of the House of Representatives pointing fingers back and forth, saying the other group should have done more work to avoid this budget crisis. Now, as you know, President Obama will meet with the senior House and Senate leaders tomorrow, although members of our delegation tell me they are not very optimistic that that meeting will do anything more than look good politically. They don't say they don't know exactly when we will have something on the table that will be a resolution to this budget crisis. JR live in Washington, Clark Foraker, News 19 WLTX.
Clark, thank you so much. Back here in Columbia, economists believe the sequester will certainly take effect at midnight. Dr. Bill Hawk with USC says he believes it will go forward, but to look for a temporary resolution in the coming days.
If that happens, I think the impact of the sequester on the economy might be relatively minimal. But the longer it drags out, I think the larger and larger impact you're going to see on the broader economy.
Well, that deadline is midnight tonight. Now, we went out today asking what you thought about the forced spending cuts that could have wide-ranging impact on services that millions of us use. Here's what some of your neighbors had to say today.
The government's really not doing enough because they rarely get anything done anymore. It's all just a partisan fight all the time. They're uncompromising because their only competition for re-election is ever in the primaries, how things are redistricted, and they just want to be the most uncompromising and radical politician they can be, and nothing ever gets done with that.
The impending budget cuts, while they are a bit of improvement, as we've had an increased budget basically every year since the Bush administration. They're an improvement, but they're not enough, unfortunately. It's a drop in the bucket against a national deficit that's massive and increasing debt, and it's not going to do enough. It's just the case. We need to cut more spending.
We also went to Facebook today asking for your comments. Aaron says, my husband will lose a day of work a week and not allowed any overtime. Each of those 800,000 workers will lose 20% of their pay starting in April and going for 22 weeks if nothing gets resolved. Mary says tonight, start cutting the handout programs, food stamps and welfare. What kind of country are we that people think getting handouts is the way that this country became great? And Melissa added, would be nice if someone up in D.C. would do the job they were elected to do, that or go home. This fighting amongst the two parties is starting to get really old. I don't care which party it is, but neither one of them are worth a penny anymore. You can have your say on this by simply going to our Facebook page or our website right now.